Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another video leading up to The Walking Dead Season 9 start after that huge Comic-Con trailer release. In this one, we're going to be breaking down the trailer, taking a look through it in more detail and answering some key questions. Does the trailer feature Rick's death scene? Are the Whispers actually in the trailer hidden somewhere? What or where is the Commonwealth as well as Toledo? So we start things off in the trailer with Rick entering Negan's prison cell to talk to Negan, see how he's doing. It sounds like it's been a while since they've had one of these talks, or it's been a while since they've just sat down and talked things through and see how each other are doing. We get a nice voiceover from Rick as we're getting to see the hilltop with, of course, Maggie as the lead, and we get to see the baby. We get to see Maggie's baby, Herschel, which is really cool. That's one that I know a lot of people have been looking forward to seeing. Glenn and Maggie's baby fully born now. After the time skip, there's been enough time for it to for her to have the baby. Yeah, they had been fighting prior just to stay alive, and it's not like that anymore. So it sounds like these last couple years during the time skip have been relatively peaceful, and everyone's been able to kind of rebuild the communities and do well together. Here we have Judith, who's just kind of running through, kind of playing safely in Alexandria, safe zone. Then we have our first look at the sanctuary post Negan, post time skip. We've got some crows eating some what looks to be a straw there out in front, of course, to represent kind of the darker side of our joint surviving communities. It's going to be interesting to see how they all kind of incorporate each other together, how the survivors feel about having the saviors kind of joined up with them now since Negan's been taken out, and vice versa, how the remaining saviors feel about being part of these survivors now. We're ready to deal with this world on its own terms as Rick rides up on horseback and absolutely smokes a slack-jawed walker with his new battle club. Awesome. Michonne riding up, following suit, giving another zombie a haircut, one of which I'm sure Walker from Fear the Walking Dead would be mighty impressed by. We have Rick giving a speech to the Savers. It looks like the joint survivors are going to be helping out the Savers a bit more, as maybe they haven't been doing as well as the other groups. Of course, they have lost their leadership and everything, but we do see a character here at the forefront who could be important in the Walking Dead comic book series. There's a character named John, who we have not seen, who is a Savior member in the television series as of yet, and later on he becomes more important, so watch for him later on to maybe become a Savior that could possibly lead some kind of a civil war or a kind of conflict between the surviving saviors and our survivors. We have the groups coming together, and it looks like taking some supplies, namely a wagon that they may be able to use with their horses and horse and buggy type of deal from maybe a local museum. So that's kind of interesting. Here we have Jadis, or Anne, who's walking with Tara, which is kind of cool just to see her kind of blending right in with the others as one of the survivors, not wearing her kind of crazy junkyard gear and all that kind of stuff. So cleans up pretty nice, not too bad. I wonder if Rick is any weirded out by her, because of course she did make some passes at him, you know, earlier on in the series when she was in charge of the junkyard group. Rick says to Negan, "Don't you ever get tired of acting like you're still in charge?" And Negan replies, "Do you?" This is my favorite comeback, or this is my favorite line of this trailer. I gave my thoughts already on it in the review, so we won't go into it too much here. You can watch that if you want to see what I think. But I love the line, and especially considering what we might see this first half with Rick, or we're gonna see. You know, it's pretty much confirmed now. We're gonna see this first half. It really sort of, oh man, it's just an important line, right? A very important line, and well, at least we still have Negan, right? Then we have a windmill here that says Commonwealth on it, so it sounds like maybe the instructions, the key that was given to Maggie in The Walking Dead Season 8 was from maybe the Commonwealth, with Georgie as the leader of it. She might turn out to be kind of our television series version of Pamela Milton, which is fun from the comic book series. So it looks like they're kind of working in both the Commonwealth as a location and also the Whispers at the same time this season, and the Commonwealth might might be a good location to have some of the people that are leaving, such as Lauren Cohen, who plays Maggie, who we know is going to leave at some point this season. Maybe they could have her kind of go to the Commonwealth on a journey off screen so she can kind of leave the story, and that way she can eventually come back in later if her other television series doesn't work out or what have you. And just to say, the Commonwealth in the comic book series is an absolutely huge community. I'm wondering in the television series if they might shrink it down, because in the comic book series it actually has 50,000 surviving members. So 50,000. So that would be a little bit tricky to do in the television series, and I would not be surprised at all if they really draw that back a bit and kind of shrink that down. Then they kind of play up this possible angle between Maggie and Rick and kind of this whole idea of civil war. They throw later on in the Saviors as well too. So there's some, there's some skirmishes in and amongst the groups here. We'll have to see if Maggie actually does make a move against Rick. You can see one here where you've got Daryl kind of carrying a gas can in that. So wondering if they might try to, I don't know, smoke out Negan or something. I don't know. I have no idea. It could be cool to see if Maggie tries to make a move against Negan, even though, Rick pretty much has told her not to. But again, Rick did say that he was going to follow her, but he didn't. He didn't go along with what she, of course, would have wanted, and he allowed Negan to live. So we'll see what she does about that, and I'm expecting that to happen early on this season. Something. And then we have all the signs here, which is really cool. So at the top, we've got HQ, we've got Oceanside, we've got Alexandria, the Sanctuary, and Toledo. A lot of people think for Toledo it could be kind of a MASH reference, and it could actually be referencing maybe the Commonwealth, so that would make sense to me that maybe Toledo is actually the Commonwealth and it's just maybe some kind of nickname or maybe part of the Commonwealth, like an outpost there that happens to be somewhat in the closer vicinity as part of a larger group maybe. So that's kind of interesting. As you notice here, we have the Hilltop, which is missing from this list. So is it that the Hilltop has become the HQ? Is that the situation and maybe our main kind of hold for the series now? Because Alexandria in the comic series you would think mainly would be the main location, but maybe in the TV series they'll kind of go now with the Hilltop as being their central possible HQ. Also, the Kingdom is missing from that list as well. So is it possible that maybe they've abandoned Post from the Kingdom? It was kind of in bad shape after All Out War. Maybe they won't use that location anymore. Maybe they'll just kind of all move together and sort of after this time skip, we'll have moved on from that location. And here we have Jerry and Nabila, who seem to be kind of getting a little, getting on a little bit, so that's fun. So happy for Jerry. Definitely a fan favorite character from the series. Everybody loves Jerry. And Nabila as well, too. That's fun. It's fun to see, right? The show's being written by a woman now, just in case you didn't know. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Daryl punches someone right in the mouth, and then the person ends up actually going down. And then afterward, Daryl tells him to stop. He grabs a pan and hits him in the chin with it. Got Daryl riding in on his motorcycle, and he actually spears a walker, which is really cool. That's something we haven't seen before, as well as all these logs being released downhill to take out a whole bunch of walkers, or at least knock them down in brutal fashion. We've got Rick taking out some different walkers around all the big logs there, and then we've got Henry coming in and taking someone down. Is it a savior? I'm not sure. I can't really tell exactly who it is, but he took him down pretty easily there, which was kind of fun. And we have what looks like a fight breaking out on the bridge, possibly between the remaining saviors and the survivors, but it's kind of difficult to tell. They go into this whole angle of the remaining saviors versus the survivors, and we have written on the wall here, "Saviors, save us, we are still Negan." And this scene here is really cool. Pay special close attention to this walker at the bottom left side here, because of course we have a whole bunch of walkers in here, so it's a little bit tricky to say, but the one there at the bottom left, and just kind of the way it's walking, is one that has been speculated upon, or it's been one that I've seen quite a few people in the comments sort of take a look at, namely because it doesn't really seem to be walking like a walker. It just seems to be walking very slowly, and it also almost looks like it's got kind of a face mask on top of it. So it could just be kind of, unintended, right? It could just be a regular zombie, just kind of one of the extras who's kind of walking a little bit too normal. for a walker. Not really, maybe has to do some work on its walker walk, right? But a lot of people think that this could possibly be a Whisper that could be wearing a skin on top here, and we might see that this season. So which one of it is? Is it a walker, or is it just kind of a bad extra who's got to work on a zombie walk? I don't know. You guys tell me. Write a comment below and let me know. But it does kind of look like it's got kind of the mask sort of on top with something underneath. But I don't see any butcher knives there, which would be a direct giveaway. And a lot of times in the comics, that's how you could tell which ones were Whispers and which ones were actually walkers, is that the Whispers a lot of times would be holding things such as knives. Negan voices over to say, when it finally goes to shit, we get a look at Gabriel, and then we have this scene here, which is one that also has been highly speculated on because it really looks like Rick's boots, and we can see as this person is kind of walking that there is some blood kind of coming down. So is that from the stomach? Is that from the chest? Kind of hard to tell, right? It almost feels as if the person who's there could be kind of holding a wound somewhere, right? Holding it in to try to create pressure on that spot if they were stabbed or something. And then the blood is kind of dripping down onto the boots as they're walking, and also from the pants as well too, because Rick tends to wear kind of pants like that and always has kind of worn shoes. Somewhat like that. It really brings to question, like, is this Rick's death scene? Has Rick been stabbed? Has Rick been bitten and narrowly been able to kind of get out of there with his life? And is he kind of just fighting for survival at this point, fighting for his life? Are these Rick's last moments? Are these Rick's last steps? You guys can certainly leave your comments below. It's not a lot to go on, but I would not be surprised if this is actually Rick here and something has happened to him, be it he was stabbed or bitten or something of the sort. Then Negan says, make sure you come back and tell me all about that day too. And as we probably know from this season and the confirmation, that most likely will never happen. Rick will most likely not be able to come back and tell Negan about that day. But I also think that Negan will not take any pride or any, satisfaction in finding out what actually had happened to Rick. He probably would be genuinely sorry to hear if Rick has been killed either by walkers or Whispers or whatever, because he is his adversary. And even though Negan didn't win the war, at the same time, I do think he respects Rick, and I don't think he wants to see Rick die either. We get a shot here of a bridge. Looks like it's been kind of destroyed. Whole bunch of walkers below in the water there, and this most likely is the one they're probably fixing, I would think, in the other scenes. And then of course we start to see some kind of conflicts between the groups as part of that work. We have a scene here where someone is at the ground at the left side, but we can't tell who it is. And then we have Enid in front, who looks very teary-eyed, as well as someone at the right side here. It's also kind of hard to tell exactly who it is. But who are they kneeling next to? Who is that who's on the ground? Are they saying their goodbyes to somebody? Has somebody been bitten? And is it a major character like Rick, or is it just kind of like a C or D-lister character? We have Carol kind of getting a little bit closer to Daryl here, which is kind of cool to see. It's one that people have wanted to see for a long time, and they have confirmed in interviews earlier that we are going to see some kind of start here in a relationship between Carol and Daryl. Now, how is that going to go? Will they end up being together, or will they decide that it won't work out romantically between them? Not sure if Daryl will be ready for that kind of commitment or something like that, but they have confirmed that we're at least going to see something between the two relationship-wise this season. Then we have an exciting shot on the bridge here, which I think is really cool. Rick is down. He looks to be holding maybe his stomach or something below, and he doesn't look to be in good shape. He's kind of got some blood on him, that kind of deal. And you basically have a whole bunch of these survivors in the background here that are kind of running forward, maybe to his aid. You've got Daryl there who kind of runs sort of right by him. And then it cuts to what looks to be a different scene. So is it, are they running towards a herd of walkers? Are they running towards, a group of saviors that are being defiant? We'll have to see. Of course, as well here too, was Rick stabbed with maybe a tainted or infected blade? Could this be related to Rick's demise? We'll have to wait and see. And here we have the damn helicopter again, which we've been seeing for quite a while. It's been kind of annoying for everybody, I think. It does have an A on the side. God damn you, Gipple. Even your stupid A's, man. When are you gonna let these go? And the other question is, are you ever gonna tell us what the frickin' A's stand for? It's getting frustrating at this point. It's too many years, and you just gotta stop trolling, okay? Just stop trolling. Having Kang do this as well now too is just like, Just stop it. Stop it. Tell us what the A means or don't friggin' use it. And I better not see an A on Alpha's shirt when she's introduced, right, in blood or something, or I'll be seriously pissed off. Seriously. Then we have a scene here where you have Daryl and Rick is kind of riding with Daryl, which is it's a little strange. I mean, you know, maybe not, but you know, it's a little strange. But it kind of feels like Daryl is sort of taken. When I see this scene here and you read into it, it's like Daryl's kind of taken the lead. And Rick is kind of, you know, he's like a passenger for the ride, but it's kind of like a switching, I want to say, of the roles here with this just quick little clip. And it's almost as if like it's Daryl taking over, you know, he's taking the reins, right? He's taking control of the series, and of course Rick will be no doubt leaving. Then we have this fight kind of breakout between what looks to be the Saviors and the joint survivors, but it doesn't look like the Saviors have much in the way of weapons, and we'll have to see what this is all about. Could it be to do with resources, and maybe the Saviors haven't been given, you know, enough by the others, and maybe they're not doing well? Could it be just that maybe they're just not getting along after the events of the war? Well, again, we'll have to see, man. We have Anne going back to the junkyard, and then we have final warning written here on a brick wall. So who is it a warning from? Is it a warning from the Whisperers? Have the survivors maybe passed into the Whisperers' territory? Are the Whisperers trying to kind of warn them that they need to stay in their own, you know, stay out of my territory, right? Heisenberg style. We'll have to see. Or who knows, maybe it could be a message from some of the defiant Saviors to the rest of the survivors. Daryl with a sweet double knife kill on 2 walkers, which is freaking awesome, and has someone at gunpoint. Then we have some fire kind of going up here, and this scene right here is very cool. You have Rick, and then you have a walker that looks to be coming up on him here. Some people have said, do you think it's a Whisper Trev? No, I don't think so. It doesn't look like one to me. If you look at the teeth, it's like, no, that looks like a walker, bro. Unless either that or that Whisperer's teeth are brutal, right? So he's been eating way too much candy from a local, you know, abandoned grocery store or Quick Mart. And then you have Rick who kind of looks over at him, but Rick doesn't look to be in good health. He kind of looks over like he's exhausted, like he's falling asleep or something, barely able to defend himself. And yeah, man, we're gonna have to see if that's Rick's final scene right there, if that walker will get him, or if he's already been bitten, maybe. Man, so frustrating not to know. We're on the same side, Rick. Well, you tell me. And then you have Michonne here, who looks to be using Lucille, maybe out of necessity, but she's kind of looks to be kind of upset with herself that she had to go ahead and do that. But you know, Lucille, she does get thirsty, right? And it looks like she's had something to drink. So cool, man. Who were you before? It looks like we have Gabriel, most likely at Alexandria, interviewing a group of newcomers, which most likely from the comic book series will be Magnus Group, which would be cool to see them in the television series. Again, like I've said, they need to bring in some new characters here and there, just to offset all the characters that are, you know, constantly being killed off. Then we get October 7th, which is the return date, so that's very cool. That's earlier than usual, so that's great to see. And we have 2 characters here who kind of run down and slide down here in the mud, of course, away from a group of walkers that's above. Looks like Rosita, and most people think it's Eugene, so so there's that, which is kind of cool. And then we have the walkers go by, and where are they? Very quietly, you know, we whisper, the dead don't mind. That's very cool. And then they're just kind of shock-faced to hear that the walkers were talking. The walkers were talking. Or were they? Whispers. Oh, man, very cool. Whispers, whispering. And that's it for my breakdown video for the trailer scene by scene, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below all these questions. How do you think the whole thing's going to go down? How do you see Rick being killed off here? And how long do you think it will take for the Whisperers to be introduced into this season? Do you think we'll start seeing them right away, or maybe a few episodes in? Either way, it looks like it's going to be a great season. A lot of different things happening, and you know, really highly looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. If you like this video, please share it. Click the share tool below. Share it through to your Facebook account or you know, Google account if you want to help me out. You can also thumb it up below and like it. I appreciate it. Check out the Trev Chan 2 t-shirt store. Link will be in the description. And that's it for this trailer breakdown, guys. We'll see you again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace.